I'm going to talk about national competition and what is it. What was the original purpose behind the national tournaments? When rugby was fairly new, the only way the United States could find out who was playing here and how good they were was to create territories and ask volunteers in that area to coach the best players they could find and be ready to play touring sides or play other territories. This way a coach could fly here and there and see the very best players in the country. In Southern California, players from Ombak and several other California clubs were named onto the Eagle squad, and the rest is history. Did the selection process work? Well, the process was what it was. He who had the money made the rules. Yes, there were some very good players in the 70s, and as rugby grew, the National Club Championship became more and more important. As everyone knows, the USA World rankings are not that good, but with time and a lot more experience, the Eagles will climb up the rankings. Why are there so many divisions? As everyone knows, money is extremely important to meet the needs of players, coaches, and referees. The money was and is extremely important to the development of the United States Eagles. Your SIP dues have in the past and still do supplement part of the Eagle budget. The more participants to our game, the more revenue is realized. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If there was only one senior men's club championship, then 90% of the men would stop playing after they were eliminated from the contest. Many of the people would lose interest and pick up golf or tennis. And in an effort to generate more revenue and spark interest, United States Rugby continues to create revenue streams. Has Florida benefited by competing in the national competition? After 40 years, there have been several Florida clubs who have found success in, number one, getting out of Florida to play alleged better competition, and number two, becoming national champions in their division. I think most people who have paid attention to the clubs with national success know that while they found success, it came at a very high price. Taking time to fundraise, train harder, travel, and spend time away from family and jobs have taken its toll. We have seen very good, strong clubs almost fold, only to emerge again with new goals and expectations. Yes, Florida benefits because the players who did not see out of Florida will play against those players who come back with a lot more experience. More experience, better competition. We have certainly benefited by our clubs making it out of Florida and then coming back in and playing a little bit tougher rugby. What will the national competition look like in the future? As I stated earlier, as far as the 2013 national competitive season is concerned, there will be no change from the pathway format that was used in 2012. What lies ahead for the future is still being developed by our national leaders. My guess is that becoming a state or geographical union champion will be the highest a club can progress. I think that in the future the United States will rank GUs and invite or design an elite competition to crown a champion. But I think the real thrust will be given our youth. I think that exposure will be given to our youth in international exposure, so that by the time they are 22, 23, 24, they have the needed 200 or 300 game experience needed to play against other world powerhouses. how can our Eagles expect to win against a full foreign side of players who have 500 or more games under their belt? These guys have played since they're 8 years old. In closing, the national competition is at this moment the only way that we can spark interest in our players and our youth. What everybody has to consider here in Florida is whether or not the revenue expense is worth the time, the travel, and the fundraising to achieve that goal, and to what end. For me, I'll talk about Florida competition in a moment, but I think everybody needs to consider the benefit of being able to play against other foreign sides to gain our experience.